Speaking of best possible product, we're going to put a really good product on the show now, and it's going to be Coach John Bayuk from Struthers popping in. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
No problem, fellas. How's it going?
We are rolling on this wonderful Tuesday. How's your week going?
Not too bad. We're just trying to pump through with this COVID stuff and injuries and just craziness every week, man. It's something new every day.
We were talking about it before you came on. I mean, it's a crazy thing to think, like, you never know when a game might be canceled or when you might have to search for a new opponent. From a coach's perspective, before we really get into your program, what's this season kind of been like with this uncertainty and trying to go into every week preparing for one opponent, but also it's got to be kind of in the back of your mind that, hey, we might have to look for an opponent on the fly, or we might have to. Is it more of trying to keep it to what you guys are doing well, other than preparing for the other team? Has there been more of focusing on you guys this year?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is not knowing who you're going to have day to day. We've had kids quarantined every single week. So I don't think it's so much, we haven't really had issues with opponents, but every day it's, we didn't have our captain senior linebacker last week, and we didn't find that out until later in the week. So we were kind of shuffling people around and figuring out where we were going to put some young guys. And I think that's the most difficult thing as a coach, not knowing every day when you wake up who's going to be on your team that week. So I think that's one of the most difficult things to deal with right now as a coaching staff. And I feel bad for the kids because they're doing the same thing. They can wake up and, these seniors are only guaranteed how many this season, and one can get taken away from them in a matter of a COVID test. So I feel bad for the kids, the stuff they're going through this year. And like I said, we're just trying to figure it out as we go.
First off, Coach, I want to congratulate you on a huge victory over Jefferson, going up to Jefferson and getting that victory. Talk to me a little bit about this team. And, from a coaching perspective, when you kind of get punched in the mouth a little bit and you go down 2-3, I think it says a lot about a team that can get punched in the gut a little bit and still get back up and come out swinging. Talk to me a little bit about how that makes you feel as a coach and what you've seen on the field the last couple of weeks from your team being able to respond after 3 weeks of three very tough opponents, but coming out now 2 consecutive wins and right back into the playoff picture.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, those 3 weeks were definitely difficult. And, as a coach, you've kind of been through that before. If you've been coaching for a long time, you've kind of been through those roller coaster rides during the season. But like you said, it's kind of hard to keep kids on track and believing that, what we're doing is the right thing and we're going to make progress. And I guess during those times, those 3 weeks of 3 probably the best opponents that most schools have gone through consecutively, those teams are probably going to have 1 loss, 2 losses combined. But we just try to tell them we need to get better. No matter what the score is at the end of the game, if we can look back at the film and say that we're making progress, we're getting better up front, we're getting better on defense, those were our goals. And I think the kids bought into that, and our leaders really stepped up. Our defense stepped up against Lakeview last week, and this past Friday, our offense really stepped up. Dylan Greenwood, our quarterback. So I think just the leadership roles that some of these kids have taken on has really helped, get through that rough path. And, just Gino Calibret and Dylan Greenwood honestly have really been our foundation, man. Gino's really kept our defense together, and Dylan's really kept our offense together. And it's just those guys that have bought into what the coaches have been preaching. And hopefully, again, we just get better. That's our focus every week.
Ty brought up, the stretch of games that was tough. And I love that you said, no matter what the score is, we want to get better. And you looked at the film, you played South Range and then Hubbard. Do you think you saw things in the Hubbard game that you guys executed better than you did in the South Range game week to week? And you could physically see evidence that you guys were getting better from week to week despite the results?
That's funny you say that, because it's after the game we watched the film and we actually thought our offensive line played decent up front, but the score or the statistics wouldn't show that. But just seeing our kids, we've done so much shuffling around up front this year. We've had some kids quarantined every week, or injuries. We lost 2 starters at the beginning of the year. So we were down 2 guys after week 2 after Streetsboro. So the new guys that had to step up and take their role, we actually saw progress within that week, but no one will really know that unless you're a coach and you know what the heck you're doing. But we did see some progress from South Range to Hubbard. But, those were 2 great offensive and defensive lines all 3 weeks. So our kids really got tested in the trenches, Streetsboro, Range, and Hubbard. And I think that showed. Coming out against Lakeview, the game slowed down a little bit. Coming out against Jefferson, the game slowed down a little bit because those 3 games were just grueling up front. So I think our kids, even though, the outcome didn't go our way, we did learn some things and make some progress.
So from one tough matchup to the next, because it seems like the next few weeks, it's a lot of teams in this NE8 that are right around the same area. So this is a huge games the next few weeks. As of course, we don't want to look ahead, so we'll look at this one. You got Niles this week and playing up a division, but I mean, this is a Niles Red Dragons team that's done a lot of things well. You guys have done a lot of things well without giving away too much of your playbook. What are we expecting from the Red Dragons, and what are we expecting from the Wildcats trying to counteract the Red Dragons this week?
Yeah, it's a good game every year between us. I'm happy it's home this year. It's our kids' senior night. It's their last home game. So I'm sure our seniors are going to be a little bit more passionate about this one since it's the last one at our stadium. And I think, we've been talking about all week, these are playoff games now. So we're currently sitting at 15. So we need to take every game as serious as we can and come out. And like I've been saying this whole show, we just need to get better in all aspects of the game. So we've had some young guys step up for some injuries that occurred the last few weeks. And again, we need those young guys to get better and get used to the Friday night lights. But every game's a playoff game, and it's a hard-hitting, great game every year against Niles. So I'm expecting the same.
In the summer and in the preseason, I think every coach probably has a expectation or a thought of how this season's going to go or what they're going to see. What has been kind of the biggest surprise from your team or biggest thing that they've done or they've been able to do that maybe weren't in your cards or your expectations for this season?
Well, personally, what's been the biggest surprise for me is as a head coach or any coach, assistant coach, I don't think you ever really expect freshmen to be on the field on Friday night. And the past 3 weeks, we've had 3 freshmen start. So I think that's something that no one really could have guessed at the beginning of this season with personnel and depth chart and things like that. So I think it's been, although a lot of our older guys, some has sustained injuries that they couldn't come back. It's been a pleasant surprise that we found some kids that are real young that have taken on those roles, and which kind of makes a bright future for us. So I think that was the biggest surprise as a coaching staff. You never expect injuries. And I think that's one of the biggest things the last 2 years, just the way the seasons have been going with shorter season, COVID, practice getting altered, things like that. I think that's one of the biggest changes we had to go through coming into this season with new guys, younger guys having to step up and take on a role, which has been a pleasant surprise.
I mean, looking at this team too, and we said it before the season, and I'll say it again. I think Struthers has one of the best communities that follow the football program. Talk to me a little bit about this year as opposed to the last year, having the community back. How has that helped the team at all? How has it helped the team, and what is the overall feeling of having the Wildcat family back in the stadium?
Oh yeah, man, it's been great having we had 3 home games in a row, and the stands were packed every night. And it's just something I think the community really needed. I mean, Struthers revolves around football and Friday nights. There's really nothing like it. You can't really compare any other sporting event to it than a Friday night in Struthers. So, I mean, compared to last year, it's obviously completely different and a nice feeling for the kids to be able to play in front of a full crowd, and they didn't have to worry about 15% capacity and ticket sales and all this stuff. But no, it's been real nice just to be able to have the crowd there, the parents there, and everyone there that has always supported and continues to support our program.
Coach, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us today. I know game week can get busy during the football season, so we appreciate the time. Good luck this week against Niles, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate you reaching out. You guys have a good one.